Alright YouTube, in this video I want to talk about one of the most common misunderstandings in the fitness world, alright? Especially when it comes to weight loss and eating, alright? Dieting doesn't only mean losing weight. Dieting means what you're eating, whether you're trying to lose weight, gain weight, or maintain your weight. That's not the misunderstanding that I'm talking about. You already read the title, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. Are you eating too clean? And I put air quotes on there because a lot of people think that eating clean is how you lose weight. No, you can lose weight eating dirty. Now, yes, eating clean and eating healthy is way better than eating dirty and eating processed food and eating junk food and eating fast food. But we're going to get into what I'm talking about, all right? The biggest misconception in the weight loss. I always tell people there's two main things that make people fail their diet. And number one is craving, and number two is hunger. But we got a long list of things besides those things. But let me get into what I mean. Cravings. All right, a lot of people try to go cold turkey from eating dirty food to eating clean food, which means fruits, vegetables, and whatever else you consider clean. Now, everybody have a different consideration of what clean is, but they just switch it on and off like a light switch. And I got another light over there, so they switch it on like a light switch, and they go from eating whatever they want. They've been eating whatever they want for their whole life, and they think they're gonna go cold turkey over here. Most likely not gonna happen. That's why when I eat dirty food. I still eat dirty food, even though I eat mostly clean food. It's more of a ratio, maybe a 75-25, and sometimes it might be half and half. But I curb my cravings, that way I don't over consume the dirty food. All right, and the dirty food usually has the higher amount of calories. Everybody knows by now. Some people still disagree that it's calories in versus calories out. Some people don't understand that food is fuel, and once you fill up on more than what your maintenance calories is, your body is going to use whatever it's going to use, and the rest of it is going to be stored as adipose tissue. What is adipose tissue? Body fat, right? So once you cut out all those dirty foods, and that's why I'm saying, are you eating too clean? A lot of people that try to eat too clean, it's a rubber band. They stretch this way to the clean side, and that willpower, and it breaks, and papaya, it slings to the other side. Then they overconsume, and whatever weight they lost back, when they was stretching it back, they might have lost 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds. Now they gained 50. Sounds close to home, right? Everybody who fails a diet has been through this. They just won't admit it. I knew this. How did I lose 100 and something pounds? Because I had to admit what I just said, right? So that's the cravings part, right? So I curb my cravings. And then the hunger part is this right here, all right? Calories in, calories out. Some people don't even count calories. They just stop eating, all right? Whether they're doing fasting or whatever they're doing. If you're not eating enough calories, you're going to be ravenous. You're going to be starving. You're going to be hungry, all right? You have to eat. All right, you just don't have to overeat. All right, a lot of people think that if they don't count their calories, then their calories don't count. Yeah, it's like, okay, if you got your car right here and you pumping gas, you put the gas thing in there and you look this way. Since you didn't see the gas going in there, you see the numbers and nothing go up, you think they got gas in your car, you just pump gas in your car. If you eat food, whether you're counting your calories or not, your calories always gonna count, right? So for those who know that, and for those who don't know that, a lot of people know that I gotta eat less food to lose weight. So they go from eating whatever they want, like I said before, to eating almost nothing. And then that willpower, stretch, papaya, that way again. Cravings and hunger are the number one and number two, and you can put it wherever you want to put it in your book. Things that make you fail your weight loss journey. So what do I recommend? I always tell people, when you first get on a weight loss journey, instead of cutting your calories immediately, find out what you already been eating. All right, it's almost like we're creatures of habit, right? when you sit down at a meeting at your job, or when you sit at school, or wherever you go, or you go to the gym, or when you park in some parking lot, you go to Walmart somewhere, 9 times out of 10, you might just be noticing this as I'm saying it, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to park in the same spot or sit in the same spot, right? 9 times out of 10, and if that spot's taken, then you go to another spot. Most of us, I ain't speaking on all of us, you might be outliers to every rule, right? But it's the same thing with eating. Yes, we might choose different foods every once in a while, but at the same time, most of us, for the most part, eat almost the same thing every day, right? So I always tell people, before you start your diet, take yourself through yesterday. Take yourself through yesterday. Try to remember it. Write it down if you have to. Look up the portion sizes you've been having. That's why it's always good to know what you're eating, tracking, all right? So try. If you haven't been tracking, it's going to be harder to do, of course, but you can, somewhere in the ballpark, if you try enough, try to find out how many calories you ate yesterday, right? And if it was a day that you ate way less or way more, okay, don't use that day. Try to remember, what would you usually eat, right? Not to yell at you, I'm just saying. What would you usually eat? Find out the calories in that, and then go from there. And only cut a little bit of calories from that, maybe 150. Check the scale every day. If the scale is not moving where you want it to move, cut a little bit more. And it's just recommendation, all right? This is what I would do. Talk to your doctor about anything I say in this video before you do it, all right? Take it in consideration. Keep an open mind. Stop being so closed-minded. If you've been failing at dieting, most likely you ain't been doing something right. You have a misconception about weight loss. You might have been learning from the wrong person, hired the wrong coach, started with somebody and y'all blind leading the blind. Like I see a million people, they start the gym together. That's my homeboy, that's my homegirl. And then they work out together and they teaching each other. Y'all, neither one of you, both of y'all are beginners. You know what I'm saying? So, calories. Hidden calories, all right? And I don't mean it the way a lot of people misunderstand it. Like, people think that, okay, if you drink a 0-calorie sugar drink or something like that, then there's hidden calories. There's no such thing as that. But I took that meaning, that saying, and I flipped it to where there actually are hidden calories. There are not really hidden, but they're hidden from people who don't understand. All right. Now, what do I mean by that? Everybody wants the most tastiest food. Everybody wants their food to taste amazing. All right. That taste is great, but at the same time, it's not the end all be all. At the end of the day, what do I mean? All right, hidden sugars, not hidden sugars, but actually putting extra sugar, real sugar into your food. That everything you add to your food that has calories adds calories to your food, especially oils and fats, butters, dressings, sauces, things like that. People will count the food that they made, if they count it correctly, which is almost impossible to be right, accurate, but you could be in a ballpark. But they double and triple and quadruple the amount of calories by putting all kind of oil in there and stuff like that. Grease, fat is 9 calories per gram. Carbs are 4 calories per gram. Protein are 4 calories per gram. For those who are scared of carbs, and you choose fat over carbs, yes, fat is more essential than carbs, but fat has more than double the calories than carbs do. All right? For those who are into ketosis and all this and all that, and you're only losing 15 pounds, and you wonder why, well, I lost 15 pounds so really fast, but then it stopped. Because when you cut those carbs out, and this is not even part of the topic that I was saying, but when you cut those carbs out, you flushed a bunch of water out of your body. And that's where those pounds came from. If you didn't cut your calories, you didn't lose any body fat. You lost weight, but you lost water weight. And a lot of people say, oh, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does. If you are trying to get lean and fit and ripped and shredded or toned up or whatever your goal is, it requires fat loss. The water weight will come up with it when you're a smaller body. All right, if I got a gallon of water and I have a 20-ounce bottle of water, bottle, they're both empty. Which one is gonna hold the most water if I fill them up? the gallon. So you're going to be smaller once you lose the body fat. You're going to hold less water weight anyways by default, right? So back to what I was saying about the hidden calories, all right? Almost everybody does this when they try to eat cleaner. Okay, I'm going to eat a salad. So I'm going to put this in it, that in it. They put all the vegetables or whatever they got to put in it, the lettuce, the spinach or whatever, tomatoes, whatever. But then they want it to taste great, so they dump ranch sauce all over it, and that's adding calories. Or they dump oil on it, that's adding calories. Or people fry their meats all the time in nothing but oil. That's adding calories. All right? So you can alternatively use 0 calorie stuff. I tell people all the time, if you want, you can have flavor without adding hundreds and hundreds of thousands of calories in your food, right? Sauce usually has a lot more calories than seasoning. Seasoning might have sodium, but if you're drinking enough water, you'll flush that sodium out. And also, a lot of the sauces that you eat have just as much or more sodium. And a lot of people, when they get on diets, they get scared of sodium. Guess what? Okay, too much sodium can be horrible. But you know what's worse than too much sodium? Not enough sodium, way down here. Right? Passed out. You know what I'm saying? So that's horrible. And adding all that oil, grease, butter, whatever. I'm not saying don't eat those things, because I eat them. But I make sure I count my calories. Everybody wants to, you gotta treat it like a business. How do you know if you got a business and you're selling something, but you're never paying attention to how much money you're spending on the products and how much money you're making from selling the product? How do you ever know if you're making a profit? So how do you know if you're making progress if you're not measuring your food, if you're not measuring yourself, if you're not paying attention to how much calories you're putting out, calories in versus calories out, and weighing yourself? That's the key. But everybody want to argue with me. Whatever isn't measured cannot be managed. Next up, let's talk about protein intake, all right? Protein intake is very important on the weight loss journey. Most people think it's just important on the muscle building journey. But even if you're not on a muscle building journey, you don't want to lose the muscle that you have. And let me tell you why. A lot of people always want to lose weight. I don't care if it's muscle, fat, water, whatever. Let me tell you why you don't want to lose the muscle that you have. All right? You got things to do. You got a job to do. Or whatever you do throughout your daily, whatever. I don't know you from a can of paint. I'm sorry. Here go a can of paint. Here go you. No disrespect. I never seen you before. I don't know the difference. All right? But what I'm saying is, hear me out. If you lose muscle, most people who lose muscle, they keep the fat. So the look that you're going for, if you're trying to be toned up, that is not the way to go. You don't want to keep the fat and lose the muscle. So you want to have your protein intake at least at a decent level, right? But also protein can help satiate you, help fill you up a little bit, help keep you feeling a little bit fuller, right? That way it can help keep you from overeating. And what is the best way to get protein? In my opinion, which I think is actually a fact, and it might be a touchy subject for some people. So a lot of people, they villainize meat. Like I say, a lot of people villainize meat because they gain a lot of weight when they're eating meat. You probably fried your meat. If you put it in an air fryer or baked it or did something or just a little spray instead of dumping oil, yes, the spray is still oil, but it's going to be way less of it. It's the same oil, but instead of every teaspoon, I forget how much it is, every teaspoon of like oil that you put in your cooking oil, most oils, different oils, I ain't gonna name all the oils, is like 80, is it 80? I forget how many calories, but it's a lot of calories. Compared to a little spray, it's like 4 calories, 10 calories at the most. If you spray the most, if you spray a lot of it, you might got 10 calories in there. Of the same oil, but it's just way less of it, right? So, it's not the meat that's adding all those calories to your food. It's the way you're preparing it, all right? So a lot of people will option out and go vegan. And that's why I say it's touchy. Now, weight loss, going vegan makes absolutely no sense for just weight loss, right? For what I just said. I ain't gonna explain again, I just said it, right? Now, if you are an animal activist and you care about animals, I understand going vegan. I'm not dissing, all right? Don't come at me with your stuff. I ain't gonna come at you with mine. If you want people to come your way, be a little bit nicer to people. It'd be easier to, you know what I'm saying? You catch more flies with sugar. Now, why did I bring up being vegan, you ask? Because a lot of people, they go straight to being vegan, right? And when they become a vegan, they cut out all of their meat, right? This one guy, for example, this guy at Walmart, I seen him one time. I was shopping, he was shopping. I had just lost a lot of weight. He was trying to lose a lot of weight, right? We was in the opposite. I was done, he was just starting, right? And coincidence, they had the frozen vegetable aisle right here, right next to the candy. It was like right across from each other, right there in the same aisle, right? He was shopping in the veggies, right? I was shopping in the candy. I was getting like some Kit Kats or some Reese's or some chocolate candy bars, right? So he was going clean, I was going dirty, right? And he was we was talking about weight loss or whatever. He's like, "You about to eat that?" Yeah. "You be eating that?" Yeah, in moderation. Like I said in the beginning of the video, he didn't hear me in the video. I was talking to y'all when I said that, but I was telling him the same thing I told y'all in the beginning of the video. And he said something else about my meat, that he seen my meat. We was talking about whatever I told him about my channel, blah, blah, blah. Then he was like, "Man, we eat meat? Oh, I'll go vegan because I'm trying to lose weight." And we started talking about it, right? And then he tried to hit me with some knowledge, try to teach me. You know what I'm saying? You beginning, and you ain't, and no disrespect, but you got a long way to go. And I'm done. You know what I'm saying? And I'm eating dirty, and I'm eating something that you don't believe in, and I got the goals you're trying to get. Try to teach me. This is how it always happens, right? But that's neither here nor there. What I'm saying is, dude tried to hit me with, "How you gonna put something in your body that's dead and you trying to come alive?" And this and that and the third. I was like, well, whatever. I looked in his cart, since he wanted to do me like that. I was like, "Man, you look like you ain't got a bit of protein. What about your protein, bro?" A lot of people, and I changed him from, I didn't try to, I changed him from being a vegan that day. He put some meat in his cart. He had just started, but then he tried to preach to me, and then you put some meat in your cart for me saying one thing: "What about your protein?" Now, yes, you can get protein on a vegan diet. It's just harder to do. And with meat is just protein and fat. And if you cook it right, most of that fat will cook out. Fat is essential, but animal fat and plant fat is two different fats. Animal protein is better than plant protein. I don't give a care what nobody say. It's more complete. It has more aminos. It has complete. Yes, you can have different plants and mix them together and get most of your aminos. But you have to really try to do that. With meat, you just eat it, right? Now, on the other hand, plant fat, avocados and different stuff are better than animal fat, right? But more healthy than animal fat. Plant fat is more healthy than animal fat. Animal protein is more complete than plant protein. That's why a complete balanced diet is important, right? So if you're trying to get enough protein to do what you're trying to do on a vegan diet, you can do it, but you have to be very, very, very strategic. And a beginner most likely is not going to be able to do that, all right? If you're a beginner, you're most likely not going to be able to do that. And also, how much do you love meat? See, a lot of people cannot stick to their diet because, like I said, with the dirty food, I'm not putting meat in the dirty food category, but I'm using it as the same example. People cut out all their favorite foods. What's going to happen when you stop the diet? You're going to go back to eating what you want, and guess what's going to happen? You never learned how to actually count your calories and eat in moderation or none of that because you're too busy cutting things out. And guess what? A lot of people say, "Oh, I know somebody that cut this out and that out and this out and that out. They didn't count their calories and they lost weight." But guess what? If you look at what they was eating before and look at what they was eating after, I guarantee you they was eating less calories. Even though they didn't count them, like I said with the gas thing, that doesn't mean they wasn't eating less calories. They cut things out. They cut out a whole, you know what I'm saying? They're eating the same amount of food except, okay, I cut out the bread. Okay, if you was eating 500 calories of bread, you just cut out 500 calories. It don't matter if you cut out the bread or you could have picked anything off that plate and cut it out. You ate less food. Calories in, calories out. I don't cut things out. That way I'm not craving them later. And I'm not gonna overeat on them later. Okay? Like I go to the store, we're gonna get to the next topic, but I'm gonna say this real quick. If I go to the store and I go and try to get a bag of chips, and I say I'm gonna get some chips, people are like, oh, I thought you was in the weight loss, so you gonna get some chips? I said I'm gonna get some chips. I didn't say I was gonna get the whole chip aisle. But if I did cut out chips cold turkey, I'll probably get the whole chip out next time. Alright, we just covered protein, right? So let's do carbs. No, let's do fats. Let's do fats before we do carbs. Alright? Because a lot of people know that fats are essential, right? You need fats for your hormonal balance, right? You need fats, right? Right. But you don't need as much fat as most people think you do. Alright? When you eat too much fat, like I said, fat has 9 calories per gram compared to protein and carbs having 4 calories a piece per gram. Now, yes, you got fiber and sugar, alcohol, things like that. 3 to 5 calories for the fiber, whatever. But other than that, those are your macros, right? Those are the only thing that has calories. So if you're trying to lower your calories, if you're over consuming the one macronutrient that has the most calories, what's going to happen to your calories? Right. And most of us are getting fats from the wrong sources. We eat nothing but fast food, and we eat this and that and a third, and they want to keto it because we're on a ketosis diet. Not me. You're on a keto diet, but you're eating fast food, you're eating trash food out of boxes and all that. Even the stuff at the store is keto friendly and this and that and a third. But you're over consuming on the most caloric dense nutrient out of all of them. And you wonder, your calories are too high. Your calories are way too high. Now, like I said, you don't want them too low. You gotta find a balance. It's just like fine tuning. It's like water and oil. You gotta find a balance. It's like tuning the old school radio, an equalizer. It's finding a balance. Find where you gotta get in, where you fit in. Talk about carbs. One of my favorite topics when it comes to weight loss, right? Because a lot of people argue with me every time they see me with bread, chips, or anything that has carbs in it, right? You eating too many carbs. You eating carbs for bed. You eating carbs. You carbs. And I always tell them, I'm 42 years old with a six-pack. I'm a father of 2 who refuses to have a dad bod. All right? I'm in my 40s, right? And I'm leaner than most 20-something-year-olds. Why? Because I understand the balance, right? Carbs, they might not be as essential as fat and protein, but they have their place, all right? Energy, yes, you can have energy from fats, ketones, and all that. I understand that. But guess what? Your body's preferred energy source is and always will be carbs, right? So, and also, most of your favorite foods have carbs. Back to what I was saying with the cravings, all right? Remember that one. Always remember cravings and hunger. Those 2 things are the main 2 things that make people fail. If your diet is unsustainable because of you're hungry or you're craving and you're going to break your diet all the time, no diet works that you cannot stick to, right? Right. So, carbs, energy. I go to the gym after eating something, even dirty carbs, donuts, whatever. Man, I go in there, tear the gym down. What? Carbs are essential. water, hydration, carbohydrate. You stay hydrated longer when you got carbs in your body. All right? Nutrient partitioning. That hydration, those carbs holding in your body is going to help with that. See, a lot of people villainize foods. That takes me to the next one. Cutting out food groups. Becoming vegan, fruitarian, carnivore, vegetarian. There's people that's on just straight sugar diets nowadays. There's something for everything. Liquid diet, whatever diet. Ask yourself, how long am I going to do this? Am I going to do it just to lose the weight? Say it works, right? Let's say I'm 167 right now. Let's say I'm 250 again. I was 275 back in the days. I don't even want to mention that. Let's say I'm 237, right? And I want to get down to 167. And I pick one of these fad diets. Yeah, fad diets. It's all that. I pick one of these fad diets and it works. They work. Don't get me wrong, they work. I pick one and it works. I get down to 167. I reach my goal. What am I going to go from there? Am I going to stay on that? Am I going to never eat solid food again because I'm on a liquid diet? Am I never going to eat carbs again because I'm on a keto diet? I never learned how to do the stuff that I'm trying to teach people how to do. I use one of these diets and it worked. I go back to eating like regular, like I used to. All my bad habits come back and they're going to come back with a vengeance. Because food is like drugs. It's an addiction. Cold turkey, here come that relapse. And you're going to be on it more than, you know what I'm saying? So, moderation, balance, key, count calories. I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm telling somebody what I do. You can do what you want to do. I'm just saying from my own experience, and I've been in the gym for over a decade. I've been in the fitness, studying, looking, seeing people. I have no choice but to see people fail. And probably about 90% of people that I see fail because they do the opposite of everything that I say. Then they be asking me, and then they ask me a question, not to learn, just to shoot it down. And I'd be like, well, I'm fit. Then they get all mad and shit. Then I get offended. I can't say nothing because I'm fit. I got a six-pack, so you came at me. Let's get to the next one, man. We ain't get into that because I'll be on that. This will become a rant. You already know how I do. Talking in the gym and all that. I talk worse when it comes to the diet. Hey. Now let's talk about calories again. We're going to talk about it in a different way. How do you get to your calories? I said it, how I do it, the slow and steady rate. But there's also ways that I've done this before too, and it works. But a lot of people say take your goal body weight and multiply it by 10 or 12, and whatever calories that is, that's how many calories you need to be eating. And that works, but that's usually very extreme. If you're not used to counting calories and you're not used to eating at a caloric deficit, most likely you're not going to be able to stick to it. If you can't stick to it, it's not sustainable. You're not going to be consistent, all right? So I always tell people my way, slow and steady. And it's not that slow. It sounds slow, but it's not that slow, especially if you got a lot of weight to lose. You got a lot of weight to lose, the weight will come off faster. Find out what you already been eating and eat a little bit less than that, all right? And then once your weight loss stops, because it will, because your maintenance calories, as you lose weight, your maintenance calories will drop too. It's like driving a car, right? If you're driving straight, you're not driving like this, driving on the straight road. You're going to make small adjustments. It's like that. It's like driving a car, all right? So it's a journey. It's a destination, right? So you're starting here and you're going here. It's a GPS. What I'm giving you, I'm being your GPS right now, your maps, your Google Maps, whatever. But now making mistakes on anything that I just said will lead to what's last but not least on this list is energy and strength loss. All right. So cutting your calories too low, not having your nutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, your macros, your micros, all that, your fiber, everything. Muscle loss, strength loss, energy loss, your workout's gonna suck, your job is everything's gonna be bad. So Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Holler back at your boy. Watch my New Year's playlist. If this video was any informative, that's nothing compared to my New Year's playlist. A lot of people, it ain't New Year's though. It's just, it don't matter. That ain't no magical date. Watch it. And also, top 10 misconceptions about weight loss. It's way, hey, you thought this was something? Saying, hey.